Hey guys, G&T here with the last episode of Armed Girls Machiavellism, Busou Shoujo Machiavellianism. Oh goodness, I'm sorry, that's a odd word. But anyway, the final freaking episode until there's an OVA later. But for now, the final episode. Oh man, here's the thing. I expected when this episode started for the fight to last a good 5 minutes. And surprisingly, it lasted slightly longer. That's all I can say to it. It lasted slightly longer than 5 minutes. Oh man. But would I say that this was a great ending? No. For this show, for what it's been, it's decent, but it's not great. Like, the fight's ending was kind of weak. They even snuck in a little Naruto Sasuke nod in there, where Amo fell over freaking Nomura like he was Naruto during a freaking rainstorm that randomly popped up after the fight. So, oh my goodness, that just threw me for a loop right there. I was like, oh my goodness, Naruto and Sasuke. That was funny. And then I stopped caring. Like it's just, this show would have been, well, let me not say the show. This fight and how it worked out would have been a lot better had this show had, let's say 10 more episodes before the original 12. Like, if the show started off with him joining his last school and you seeing all this stuff lead up to this big fight between those two at the old school, and then they started this series, that fight would have such a big payoff, because you would actually care about the emotions and feelings of the characters. But honestly, you really don't, because, well, I mean, you got a flashback for like half an episode telling you that they once went to the same school, and she like went all psycho because he made a friend. End of story. Now we're in present time. That's what happened. There was no depth to her character at all. Like, they tried to rush in everything about her at the very end, which just does not make for a good showdown. Like, the whole thing about with having a good villain. The villain has to have a good backstory. And I know she's not technically a villain at the end of this, but throughout this series, she has been a villain. Like, no doubt. Throughout this series, until he fights people, they're considered villains. That's just the way it is. That's how the show works. And without actually going in depth enough to care about the villain, you end up not really caring about the hero's triumph over the villain. And that's how this show ends up. It's like, yeah, they had a cool fight. I've been waiting to see the cool fight. It was nice to watch the cool fight. Now, what should I care about the rest of this? So why should I care about the rest of this? It's just, I don't know, it's lacking. That's the best way I can put it. It's lacking. It should have had more depth. And the problem is, because it's just a 12 episode anime, and I'm assuming they don't have plans for a second season with the way they ended it, by like the way that they had him soundly defeat her, and then they shipped her off on a plane to who knows where. It's like, I'm assuming there's no second season. That's basically what that ending says. We're trying to wrap up this anime that we have rushed together, which Here's the thing, I'm waiting on the manga to get to this point, if it even exists in the manga. Because here's the thing, it could be like Dragon Ball Super. In Dragon Ball Super, it's being done differently in the manga than from the freaking anime. And it's being done better in the manga. Like, if nobody's read Dragon Ball Super manga, and you're watching anime, go read the manga. It's so much better. So much better. But that's what I'm assuming is going to be the situation with this as well. Like, the manga's going to be so much better. Oh, man. But here's my thing. I watch anime because I like to see this wild, crazy stuff that happens in manga in action, in motion, And for the most part, this anime did that. It brought me the crazy fights and put them to some nice motion, some nice animation for the most part. Like, sometimes there was dips, but for the most part, it was a pretty nice thing to watch when you were watching fight scenes and stuff. And that's mostly the whole catch to the show, besides all the, fan service. Besides that, the thing that's supposed to hook you here is the fighting. And for the most part, the fighting was pretty solid. Like, story-wise, the story cannot catch you that well because they don't have a bunch of details in the story. That's just the way it is. They just don't do enough to make you care about the story. But as far as wanting to see these techniques and fighting styles and stuff, it does that quite well. You always sit there I always sit there and I'm like, I wonder how this person's gonna fight. I'm looking forward to it. And another problem with that is the main character has one technique. When your main character has one technique, you look more forward to what other characters can do rather than your main character. I hate to bring up Dragon Ball again, but it's like Dragon Ball. We all watch Goku fight, and we expect him to throw 10 Kamehamehas. Let's see. Do instant transmission about 20 times. And do a spirit bomb once per boss. That's what we expect from Goku. You don't expect anything different because he doesn't do anything different. Like, you expect to see Super Saiyan at least once per boss. You expect to see, now with Super, the Super Saiyan Blue for every character that he goes up against. Not just once per boss, for every character he goes up against. The weaker ones, the stronger ones, the mid-tier ones. Every character's going to get a blue transformation. That's just the way it is. That's what we expect now. But that's what I'm saying about Fudo Nomura. He has one move, and that's that spirit bullet or magic bullet, whatever it's called. Whatever they'll call it in a dub, I don't know. But he has the one move, and he constantly uses the one move. And you would think, because he used one move on the other characters, when he got to the other ones, they wouldn't get hit by it. Especially a Mo, seeing as apparently she's been hit by it in the past. You would expect it not to happen again, but anime logic. He can do the same move to every character, and it always works. Oh, but whatever. We're not here for things that make sense. We're here for senseless violence. And that's what this show brings you, along with lots of TNA. And for that, I think that this series as a whole, first this episode, would get like I guess I'd say a 4 out of 5. And the series as a whole would get a 4 out of 5. Like, this series is enjoyable to watch. Or at least it was for me. Because I like violence, and I like chicks. It had both. Which is funny, because I'm not a big fan of Ikitosen. Like, whatever. Anyway. It was nice. Let's just gonna leave it there. It was nice. I would recommend for you to watch it, I'm not saying it's the greatest thing ever, so don't just go and burn money on it to watch it. Just whatever service you use, just watch it there. And if you like it enough, then go buy it. But that's all I got to say on this. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Can't wait to see what's happening in the next season of anime. Peace out, and have a great day.